Good evening, everyone, and happy Halloween. Welcome to week number 11 of Football Frenzy, brought to you by West Virginia University at Parkersburg. It was yet another exciting night of action in the MOV as we are now in the playoffs in the state of Ohio. I'm Griffin Albright, joined alongside by my partner, Andrew Noel. Andrew, it is officially crunch time as schools in the Buckeye State have begun postseason play and teams in the Mountain State doing everything they can to get themselves in the playoff picture.
That's right, Griffin. It's win or go home in Ohio. In West Virginia, teams are either trying to improve their playoff position or get themselves into the playoff picture.
Yep.
We had a big matchup in the Little Connaught Conference as we saw one of the hottest teams around put their win streak on the line tonight, Griffin.
Absolutely. The St. Mary's Blue Devils carried a 5-game win streak into their matchup with Tyler Consolidated. They're currently ranked 10th in the latest WVSSAC playoff poll and looking to climb the rankings with a big win here tonight.
Well, for the Knights, Griffin, they came in with a 4-4 record and are on the outside looking in of the playoffs. Let's go to St. Mary's and see what happened out there tonight. We pick it up in the second quarter of a scoreless game as Blue Devils quarterback Jeremiah DeMoss rolls out looking for a receiver, and he keeps it himself as he lowers his shoulders, brings the boom, pushes his way, and gives St. Mary's the 7-0 lead
left a mark
early in this one. Now, Griffin, let's get to the next possession here. It's Silver Knights quarterback Ashton Morris dropping a dime in the basket to the wide-open Gideon Winfrey, who has room to run before being tackled inside the 10-yard line, which would set this play up as Winfrey takes the handoff, and he'll go untouched into the end zone for the score, but they would miss the extra point. It's 7-6, St. Mary's in the second quarter. Later in the quarter, it's DeMoss taking the snap, and he finds Elijah Kimball wide open over the middle to keep the drive moving. Later on the drive, it's a QB sneak as DeMoss punches it in through all of the bodies to extend the Blue Devils lead to 14-6. Still in the second quarter here, on fourth down, just before halftime, it's Morris finding his tight end Caden Utt, who goes upstairs for the nice grab to cut the deficit to 14-12 before the half. Third quarter action we're about to pick up here. It's DeMoss rolling out of the pocket here after taking the snap. He drops it off to running back Noah Dawson, who has some room to work with before getting tackled inside the 20-yard line, setting up St. Mary's for this play coming right here. And it's that man, DeMoss, doing it all by himself once again. Same play as the first one. He waltzes into the end zone, almost untouched there, to give St. Mary's the 21-12 lead halfway through the third. St. Mary's would hold on to win this one by the final score of 21-18 as they pick up their 6th straight win and 7th on the season.
Also, one-man wrecking crew tonight. All right, to Parkersburg South, the Southside Psychos, they like to call themselves, bringing the energy in their costumes, picking it up late in the first. Kinson Lutchman saying quick hitter to Derek Sandy, and he's going to squeeze by a couple of Cardinals for a first. No points on that possession, though. Spring Mills trying to run it with Keelan Curry, but he's swallowed up. Chance Boudreau and co bringing him down. Let's flip the field. Other quarter, Curry launching deep downfield, and it looks like Logan Graham has an interception, but they would give that to the Cardinals. Controversial. Later in the first half, Curry going to pull it down and run, getting around the outside, and he's going to fall into the end zone. 12-0. Spring Mills leads.
Got some speed in those legs.
Yes, he does. Ensuing Patriots possession, Colin Hayes now in at quarterback, going with the long ball, looking for Taj Joyce, and he's got him. Huge play for South until Hope Balqui rips it out. Spring Mills takes over. A drive killer for South right there. South defense now trying to get off the field. Screen pass goes to Blake Sanders. He's got room to work, lowering the shoulder, plowing into the end zone. Cardinals take a commanding 19-point lead late in the second. Spring Mills not done yet. Curry pumps and fires back shoulder for Xavier Anderson. What a catch from the big 6'6 receiver. 26-0 into the break. Now, Cardinals would recover the second half kickoff. Then Rylan Swartz hits Douglas Mayer over the middle, and he's out of there. Another touchdown for Spring Mills. They take this one big time, 41-0.
Well, Griffin, let's see our other Parkersburg team as Hoover and Parkersburg got some haunted house vibes with those flashing lights. Alex Greer drops back, looking for somewhere to go with the ball, but he chucks it up, and it's intercepted by Hoover here, going out of play, and a turnover for Parkersburg. Blake Fisher gets the handoff, and he runs it to inside the 3-yard line, setting himself up right here as he gets it again and gets through a crowd, and he scores here. Hoover takes the lead. Alex Greer throws a long pass, this time trying to hook up with his receiver Titan Parsons, and he makes the catch.
Oh, wow.
A nice grab going
Nice play.
upstairs to get that. But Parkersburg would miss the 31-yard field goal as it doesn't even reach past the end zone.
Tough.
Peyton Grigsby throws to Blake Fisher. Watch all the cuts he makes here, and he's brought down
There he
inside
goes.
the 20-yard line,
Can't catch him.
setting himself up for this as Peyton Grigsby throws to Lance Williams, and he makes the catch and scores. Parkersburg would go down in this one, 47-14 to Herbert Hoover.
Well, stay with us. There's a lot more ahead on Football Frenzy,
including the Wirt County Tigers hosting the Tulsa Rebels, looking for their 4th straight win. We'll have the highlights of that game and more right after this break.